Today's episode is brought to you by Artlist.
What if I told you that you could steal the color grade of any movie? Picture your own footage and with one click, you can apply the sickly green color palette in The Joker, the amazing desert landscapes of Dune, or the neon-lit dystopia of Blade Runner 2049. Well, I found a few apps that can just do that, and they will help you steal the tones for your own projects. And I'll show you how to do that in no time. Today I will show you a couple of different methods on how you can steal color grades from movies. It is super cool because you don't have to do all the heavy lifting and create everything from scratch yourself. We're gonna talk about how to steal a color grade with a free AI tool, how to do it based on a Google image in your editing software, and how to match different camera types so they look identical. Now let's kick off with the AI. Just recently I stumbled upon a new tool which is called Runway, and it has this really cool feature. Picture this. You describe the color grade you're after and bam, it creates a LUT for you that you can use in any other editing software. So if you just need a starting point, or you've been stuck with a grade, or simply have a hard time nailing that elusive cinematic look, then this tool is your friend. So simply head over to RunwayML.com and check out their AI tools. We're zoning in on this particular tool, which is the text to color grade feature. Okay, so let's simply upload a sample clip. If you don't have one, you can tinker around with the demo assets they have, but in my case, I'll be using a stock clip that I found on Artlist to show you how it works. All right, now let's try a few color grades. So say we wanted to emulate Blade Runner 2049. And that movie has a pretty famous scene that looks like super orange and trippy. Now, all I would have to do is type in Blade Runner 2049 and then hit generate. So when I first tried it, my reaction was, nah, that doesn't really look like what I wanted at all. But keep in mind, these tools are very new and AI can only be as smart as your instructions. So you gotta do a little bit of trial and error. It can work, but keep in mind that Blade Runner has a lot of different scenes and color grades. So often I found it much better to describe the effects that you're looking for. So for example, I look at this Blade Runner scene and I'll try to describe what is going on in the image. So let's try analogous colors with a focus on yellows, oranges, and some red tones in desaturated darker areas. As you can see, this looks much better and is much closer to what we've been looking for. I also had decent results with the words global tint, and all of these are a lot more specific, and basically the possibilities are limitless here. We can also toggle between the original image and our grade to kind of compare what we've done. But my favorite feature is the fact that we can export these color grades as a LUT. That means we can apply these to any of our projects in Premiere Pro or any other editing software. Now remember, this tool isn't perfect, but it is really great at giving you a very solid starting point, but you might still need to make some minor adjustments later on. And of course, you can tweak things manually if you feel the need to. All you have to do is hit the download button, and then, for example, I can open it up in Premiere Pro and import it as a LUT in the Lumetri panel, and I have a really good starting point to do my own custom color grades. So for example, I could start to emphasize the shadow tint, kind of make it a little more orange and so on. Decent stuff. Next, I will show you on how to steal a color grade with a Google image. But before we get started, I encourage you to practice with your best clips. But to really get to grips with color grading, there is nothing like working with professionally shot footage. The detail, the exposure, and the dynamic range make it a lot easier. And that is why I wanted to show you where I found this cool sample footage that I had used for the examples in the video. And that's where today's sponsor, Artlist, steps in. Artlist Max offers access to stock footage that's often been shot on super expensive cinema cameras and the like, something I don't have access to. One of my favorite features is the fact that you can download footage in log and raw formats. In simple terms, this means the videos come in a super high quality format with a lot of information that is ideal for color grading, with lots of room for experimentation. I've been using Artlist Max for a while now, and it has been incredibly useful in my workflow. This means you got access to super amazing footage to practice color grading. It's a great way to learn and understand how changes in color grading can dramatically alter the mood of a scene. So if you are interested in color grading and want to experiment, Artlist Max provides the quality footage you need. But of course, Artlist does more than just provide you with cinema grade footage. It also gives you access to the regular Artlist music service. This means you'll have a massive library of music at your disposal. One feature that really stands out to me is their curated playlists. So for example, for the color grade, which is inspired by the movie of Dune that we're gonna do next, wouldn't it be cool to have music that kind of echoes the same atmosphere? Well, on Artlist you have a Dune playlist that is filled with tracks mirroring this kind of ambience. It's not just about mimicking a color grade, it's about creating a cohesive feel in the end. Now, if you're unfamiliar with their pricing, for the creator plan you're looking at $9.99 per month. This allows you to use all their tunes across your social media platforms. If you are into commercial video creation, the Pro plan is where it's at. It is priced around $17 per month, and that is a pretty fair deal considering that you can pass the music rights to your clients. And as I had said, Artlist Max is relatively new and it costs around $39 per month, and it will expand your entire creative toolkit, not only adding stock video but editing templates and other assets to your subscription. It's a really handy upgrade for me as it opens up a bigger collection of assets, letting me crank up the production quality of my videos and make my workflow a lot faster. Okay, next up there is a pro tip, and that is a super useful download. Now, as I had said, when speaking about professional color grading, using log and raw formats is an absolute no-brainer. It's like having a super detailed canvas with plenty of room for precision. But aside from more information in the files, shooting in log also helps you to match any camera type. Now, if you've seen log or raw footage straight out of the camera, you might wonder why it looks so flat and like kind of washed out. And this is actually by design. The footage is intentionally desaturated and low contrast to retain as much detail as possible, especially in the highlights and shadows. This gives you a greater dynamic range to work with, which is a huge advantage in color grading. But before we dive into stealing the grade based on an image, there is one important step: applying a log conversion. This conversion transformed this flat and boring looking log footage into a standard color space, which is typically Rec. 709, which is the baseline format for most content. This step will bring the image closer to what we perceive with our eyes, making it a really good starting point for your color grading. From there, you have the freedom to manipulate the color's contrast and overall look of the footage to your liking. Down in the description, you find a link with free conversion LUTs. So no matter your camera model, these will help you to transition from log to Rec. 709 super smoothly. Okay, next up, how to steal the color grade in Premiere. Alright, so here's the game changer. Adobe Premiere Pro has a secret weapon which is called the color match feature. You can find that in the Lumetri panel under color wheels and match, and it can help you to get that cinematic look you're after in only a few seconds. So you're going to need two things open in your project: the clip that you want to manipulate and a reference frame from a cool cinematic movie. So you can either take a screenshot from the particular scene you want to emulate. In this case, I simply go to Google and I type in a Dune movie, and this one looks pretty good, and I download this as a reference image. Then I import this into the Premiere timeline and place that reference frame right at the end of my timeline. Okay, now you're ready to roll. Simply head over to the Lumetri color panel and select Comparison View under Color Match. And you'll notice the program window split into two parts now, allowing you to scroll through the timeline and pick the perfect reference frame for the color match. Now all you have to do is simply click apply and voila. Remember, this tool also isn't a full-blown one-click solution, but it is really great at giving you a very strong starting point to make some minor adjustments later on. In the third part of this video, I will explore the color grading powerhouse called DaVinci Resolve. This time, let's use the Joker movie. Okay, again, I'm going to head over to Google and search for high-quality screenshots from this movie. So let's just type in the Joker cinematic color grade or something like that. You could also screenshot from your Netflix account or whatever other file you have available. But remember, we want to pick scenes that really represent the visual style of the film and the ones that are similar to your own shot. So for example, I'm choosing this indoor scene from the Joker, and we want to match it up with this gym weightlifting scene that once again I had found on Artlist Max. If it was a sunny, like kind of landscape shot, for example, it wouldn't work so well because the clips are super different. So always consider the color palette, the lighting and the mood when selecting your clips. Now all I have to do is import the screenshot into DaVinci Resolve to make it ready to transfer its own color grade to our own footage. So after setting up the color page and creating a new serial node, I select the clip that is meant to receive the color grade, and by holding Command and clicking on the scene from the Joker, we can activate the shot match to this clip function. This effectively transfers the color grading from the Joker scene onto our own selected clip, recreating its distinct visual look. And as a final step, it is also possible to adjust the intensity of the color grade. And we can alter this using the key output settings, reducing the strength of the color grade to best suit our footage. This allows us to borrow visual styles from iconic films, lending our footage like a professional and cinematic edge, so to speak. Remember, all of these are starting points, and in the end, practice is key in perfecting the art of color grading, so enjoy experimenting. And once again, massive thanks to Artlist for making this video possible. Make sure to check them out and feel free to share with a friend who might need a refresher in color grading and might find this very helpful. If you want to discover more cool AI tools for photo and video, I created a playlist here. And if you want to hang out with me here on the channel, my name is Eric. It is very nice to meet you, and I will see you guys in one of the next videos.